Yeah, continuing with that topic as well, when we look at the whole of the World Cup, and you might need a minute to think about this, guys. Let's talk about breakout stars, people maybe who are already a big star anyway and have really stood out in this tournament, obviously the obvious two in this game. And then the flops as well, the players that you expected more from in this World Cup. Are there any names that come to mind on either side of that, Mark Ogden?
I knew you were going to come to me first. Thanks for giving me the time to
think. You've been writing a lot as well after games.
I know.
A few reports that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Moroccan players. I mean, look, Hakim Ziyech really surprised me because I've seen him at Chelsea a lot, and he's not really impressed. I just think he's found a different level in this tournament, Ziyech. And there's been. I think Martinez has had a great tournament in goal. I think he probably been the goalkeeper of the tournament ahead of maybe Livakovic, the Croatian. I just think that it's hard to pick players that have jumped out because for me, this has been the tournament of the great players, like showing us how great they are. Luka Modric, Mbappe, Messi's been great. The Portugal team were better when Ronaldo stepped out or was dropped. So it's been a strange World Cup, but the one thing for me that I'm interested to find out is which of the breakout or the so-called breakout players are going to get moves in January on the back of the World Cup, because I don't know if the guys remember Karol Poborski. He's like the famous kind of litmus test of never buy a player on the back of a good tournament, because Poborski had a great Euro 96, went to Man United, it was awful. So is Cody Gakpo going to be the guy? Is Cody Gakpo going to be the guy that gets a big move in January and is proven to be not quite ready for the Premier League or a big league? So I mean, Julian Alvarez is obviously in a great tournament, but I do think that clubs have got to be careful not to jump in on some of the players that have surprised them, because international football and the World Cup is totally different to what you're going to get in the Premier League or La Liga, the Bundesliga, the Champions League. So it'll be interesting to see which players do get a move on the back of this tournament, because in the past we've seen that players that do move. I mean, I think El Hadji Diouf went to Liverpool after World Cup 2002 and again was really poor. So just be wary of signing players that have a really good World Cup, because doesn't always mean they'll have a good transfer to the next team.
Yeah, I agree. Emiliano Martinez is officially the goalkeeper of the tournament, and rightly so. Tremendous. And it's worth mentioning, by the way, that he wasn't even considered for Argentina for a long time. Moves to Aston Villa, obviously does that great first season, and then he gets picked up by Scaloni. So Emiliano Dibu Martinez totally deserves it. I would say that half the Moroccan team deserve to be mentioning. Amrabat was absolutely fantastic. Unahi as well. Bono, of course. Jude Bellingham have had some great moments in this tournament as well. And Antoine Griezmann deserves another mention just because, not including today, but Didier Deschamps did put him in this new sort of hybrid Kante role that we really have never seen before, definitely not with the national team. So I wonder what his future will look like, even immediate future from January. So there's been some tremendous performances. And, from a disappointment performance, I mean, Uruguay has to be up there for me. I thought that just overall from a squad perspective, it was really disappointing to see somebody like Fede Valverde, who we talked so highly of in this tournament, and or at least leading up to the tournament, didn't deliver. So those to me would be the key players. But great to see Emiliano Martinez and Enzo Fernandez as well winning the young player of the tournament as well.
LA?
What do you want from me, Kay? You want flops or you want outstanding players? I'm not quite sure.
I want outside of this game today, so outside of these sides, because we've just had a little look at that. Go on then, give me your flops first. Be harsh first.
Wow. And there I thought I was a positive guy. Look, it's impossible to turn your back from Belgium and what they were supposed to be in this tournament and what they ended up being. And if you're going to talk about Belgium, it's obvious to talk about Romelu Lukaku and the chances that he missed against Croatia. But beyond Lukaku, I would suggest that Kevin De Bruyne coming into this tournament would have been one of the best players in the world and still remains one of the best players in the world. But he didn't play like that. And he didn't have that kind of impact. He didn't have the impact on his team that a guy like Luka Modric has on his. He didn't have the impact that, say, Lionel Messi had on his. And he is their Lionel Messi. He is their Luka Modric. So I thought that Kevin De Bruyne came up short in the biggest moment. And a team that as a whole came up short. So I thought they were disappointing. And just overall, the feel about Belgium and thinking, I don't know how many times I have said this and how many times they have been described as a golden generation. Well, I think we can stop that now. That generation is now done. and Belgium didn't have much to show for, certainly in this tournament. So for me, that's the biggest name that I can come up with, and I think it's the most obvious name of the superstars coming into this tournament.
All right. So that's nice to hear from all that side, and we'll end on the little positive there.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.